Hey everybody, hope everyone's having a great Friday so far. I'm still a bit sick, but I am feeling a little better today, so as I always say, can't complain. Let's go ahead and get started. So let's see, yesterday we were having a bug that had to do with iterating over this dictionary, and the problem is that the dictionary changes while this loop is still going, and that causes errors. So there are a couple ways we can fix it, but first I'll see if I can demonstrate the error again. Yeah, see, out of sync. So one way we could do that is we could just have this list. Active keys. I guess we'll just create one, but obviously we wouldn't want to create this every frame, but this is just to demonstrate. So then active keys, add range, active tracks dot keys, and then we'd iterate over this list, and so this list wouldn't change, and I think that would work. But I was actually inspecting the code, and I think actually for this we don't actually need to use a dictionary because this script ID is not really ever used. So how I'll do it, I think, is we'll just change this to a list, and then this, instead of just being a handling script ID, will actually be a reference to the actual tracking object. No, we shouldn't rename it because it's going to change everything. I'm just thinking, will this work? Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't. So is this cleanup track? So instead of, yeah, we don't have to send the ID. We would just remove it from the list. And then instead of active script, it would just have the tracking right there. And I guess we could still just have an index here. Just for debugging. Oh, I don't want to put a semicolon right there. And then this, instead of setting the ID like that, we would actually add it to the list. And then this would be tracking.index. Okay, so we don't need to pass ID at all. Let's see. And then right here. Yeah, see, basically we only use the ID for looking up the dictionary anyway, so if we just pass the object around, it should be the same. Okay, I'll come back to this. and this, we don't need to test if the handling script is null because at this point this one will be called during a Lua script, and we know for sure that the handling script was set already, so okay. And then here, so this is actually for each tracking and active tracks. Alright, and so the only thing here is that, so let's see. During a script call, things can be removed, but they will never be added. And so that is a good time that you can use just simply iterate backwards through the list. Because again, you can't use a for each loop if you're going to change the collection you're iterating through. That's the problem we had before. But if you iterate backwards through it using a for loop, you have control over the counter, and if something is removed from the list, the counter does not lose its place. So that's why if you're going to remove things from the list, you should always go backwards like this. It just works out cleaner. Okay, so let's see if this works. Oh, I saw an error. A bunch of scripts are running right here. Abilities will state not known. Okay, that's a little strange. I guess we clicked on it too early. Okay, so that's not strange actually. That's something good for us to test. Alright. So, but if I click on it quick enough so that the script does not finish running, then we get that error. Although this does fit our set correctly once the script is complete and then it refreshes. Okay, so that's not a problem here. That's actually on the select window. So I guess we need to have the easiest way would just be to return 0 here if the state's not known. Well, that actually works out fine because doesn't this have, yeah, it has an unknown value right there. So instead of 0, let's return unknown just to make it clear. Yeah, so that should work fine actually. Okay, I actually waited too long. Yeah, so that time I clicked on it before the script was complete, but it still was grayed out, but no error was thrown. So let's just move through here to make sure. Okay, so it still goes through perfectly. Alright, so I think we're done here. Okay, so better play exceptions. This one's actually going to be kind of just busy work, but I think I need to do it before we get too much farther. Okay, so instead of passing a string, we should really just pass an enumeration. And then the base, okay, yeah, the message would just be type toString. Oh, I don't save it, that's a problem. Okay, so now we need to basically find every reference to a play exception and change it from a string to an enumeration. Okay. I should have read the message. So return value from ability gets targets function. Let's see. So play exception type get targets script illegal return. And then I need to generate an enumeration. Okay. So I think I'll copy and paste that so I don't have to type that out every time. So get targets nil indicator type. Okay, and here we actually have a string. So how do I want to, like if we have multiple arguments, let's see. Oh, not args, I guess info. So here we can pass one or more informational strings to the exception. Okay, where was I? Right here. This should... This kind of stuff is actually caught by the Lua interface, but I guess we might as well have special errors here as well. Get targets. Okay, I guess this will be bad indicator type. Maybe I'll just use the same error for each. Oops. Can't see with those colors. Except this one will also pass a string to it. And again, I'll copy this. Okay, so this is ability usable, script illegal, return. Okay, and this is actually the same thing down here. And right here I don't even bother to send anything. Okay, this is the action executor. Probably want to be more specific here, but action execution failure. I'm not sure when this would actually happen because the script should not. Well, I guess that would be the thing. It would be a mod error if this ever happened. So. Okay, so what does the script do? Selections error checker. Okay, so it gets all selections from the server. Okay, so it's just checking to see if the turn selections are corrupted or not equal, I guess. Oh, well, they don't have to be equal, they just have to be not corrupted, so. Okay, so let's see, turn selections, message corrupted. So that would happen, you have the message is null, and then you have the players is null. That would happen here as well. Okay, so here it checks for a duplicate. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, so that's fine. Yeah, and here it's trying to find an ability. So if the ability doesn't exist, then it got corrupted somehow. Yeah, the other possibility here is that we detect cheating, but we don't even really test for that yet. Probably should, because for each of these things we should make sure that the selection is even possible. Let's see. Make sure selections received from the server are possible. Move this down because we'll do this once we finish a loop of a turn, I think. Because, I mean, all we have to do is really run the get target script again and see if this selection is inside the return values. Okay, so that's all that. Alright, so here this would be Lua runtime exception. Okay, and what would this happen? Or when would this happen? This would never really happen except... Oh, well, no, I guess if a script called coroutine yield but hadn't made any requests. this would be async script yield without requests. And just to make things clear, the difference between throwing these play exceptions and then throwing a normal exception is that the play exceptions are all basically should all be caused by a mod somehow, and let the mod authors know that's something they need to fix on their end, and it's not the fault of the game code itself. Okay. So this would be async script bad yield argument. Okay, I guess that's fine. I don't know what that returns, but I think the general toString just returns like dynamic object, which isn't any help. Okay, and then same thing down here. Okay, and then this would be, oops, I don't want to copy that whole thing. So this would be actions message corrupted. Okay, and this would be, this isn't corrupted, it's mismatch. So, which either means somebody's cheating or some mod is different for one player than it is for another. Okay, next up. Okay, so this is selection to actions, so cell to action script, illegal return. Is that the same syntax I used for the other ones? Yeah. Okay, so this would be illegal active monster. This is illegal target position. I'll spell it out. And then here it's an illegal action type. And most of these things would have been caught in the Lua interface, but I think it's good to have these errors at both sides, so in case one slips through the interface, hopefully this would catch it. Okay, we're actually almost to the end. This isn't taking as long as I thought. Okay, so sort players. Okay, yeah, this is just an illegal return. Okay, and we go through the trouble of trying to be a bit more useful here. So let's see. Okay, and this is duplicate player. Too many parentheses right there, I think. And then the last one is yeah, unneeded. Okay, I think that's it. I'll just search for a play exception again and see if it's called anywhere else. Okay, I don't see any strings, so I think we're done. Okay, cool. That was actually pretty quick. Alright, so here, sometimes a mod I think might want to have a function, like take for example, mod has some kind of database inside of its Lua files, and it might want to update them at the beginning of a turn, which is when this would be called, and then create the database, which is when this would be called. So I want to go ahead and support those functions now in case I need to use them. Okay, so actually I'm looking for the, yeah, here. Just made the table of contents. Alright, so do I want to maybe allow multiple script that I can insert into load, or just one per mod? I don't really know why they need more than one. Okay, so onload function and on new turn function. So that's the easy part. Okay, so on the mod load manager, so where do I load the sort function? Oh yeah, right here. If it's a framework. So I think we would allow this to be null. So if string is null or empty, mod table of contents on load function. If this is false, then we want to load it right here. Okay, so on load function and on new turn function. Oh gosh, I can't get the, I'm pressing the wrong keys. Okay. So that's really all we have to do here. And then the asset organizer, we need to insert them into the game data. So first we need to make a list, and again, a closure is just what Moonsharp calls a function reference in Lua. So let's see, onload functions. Oh, let's say funcs because I use that terminology there. On new turn funcs. Okay, so this will be pretty easy. So if okay, so let's actually make a helper function here. Private void add what should I call this? I guess state functions because they kind of load at or run at a specific state. Okay, so if mod table of contents, I need to do the string thing again. So if this is false, then it means that it has an onload function, so I need to insert it into the database. Do I have a, yeah, I have a get function. And then I basically need to do the same thing except for the on new turn. Okay, and so database onload functions clear. And then we just call add state functions for the framework, and then for each of the content mods. Okay, so I think now we load everything. Now they need to actually run. So when do I want these on load? Well, I guess I should load like right now before we I'm trying to say it should load right here before we exit this loading scene, shouldn't it? So does that mean do I need to have another state here? Probably. Alright, this is data. Here's what I was looking for, loading phase. So complete, organize assets, ready check. So I need to add something else before the ready check. So onload Lua scripts. I'll just call load Lua scripts. How about run load Lua script? Lua, gosh, I can't talk. Run load Lua scripts. That sounds better to me. Okay. Alright, so these loading things won't have any of the capabilities of the async scripts because it's not during the play phase, but that's okay because it shouldn't ask for stats this early, and it doesn't need to wait frames because we're just loading it anyway. Okay, yes, there's a couple places I need to add. not during this for sure. And this is just during the flow manager. So after organize assets, we would want to change. Yeah, we'll need to switch this a bit. So this would be on run load Lua complete. And then for the organize assets, it's actually simpler. And then I just need to create another function or message here for run load Lua scripts complete. Alright, so now I just need to create the class that will handle that. Okay, so yeah, we could probably, I mean, we could do this multi-threaded. So yeah, for now I'm just going to have one class. Let's call it, okay, I guess I'll call it load script runner. And this will take the loading. What is that? I think it's asset load controller. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start by writing the function that will actually run everything. Then we'll know what we need in here. So I know we'll need the game data. And I'll basically just run each script immediately. Yeah, that should be fine because as I said, we can multi-thread this if we really need to, since it is in the loading phase. So it doesn't really matter how long this one frame takes at this point. So basically for each function and database on load functions. I just realized I should probably create this list right now. I always forget to do this kind of thing. And basically we're not going to provide really anything for Lua to call at this point. So this is actually very simple. So database, well, we do need to do a try catch. Script runtime exception. Database Lua. Okay, so I don't actually do that. I forget how I run the Lua script. Let's check here. Oh, except these all use the asynchronous. So there. Oh, except these use coroutine. But yeah, it's. I think I just called the function. So function call, and we don't send it anything. Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. And if there's an error, then we do try catch out. So I do actually need to put the try catch outside of the loop, because if there's any error, then we would want to stop. Oh, Visual Studio had an error. That's strange. Okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna need to restart it. Okay, hopefully it's happy now. And I need to delete this inner try. And so I need to get the message claim for the load exception error. And then we would just send it on its way here. Oh, right. New mod load exception. Okay, we actually should go through here and change all the strings, but I don't really want to do that right now. So let's say error and load function. Alright, so let's go write a note to go and change this. Okay, asset loading. Better, let's say change exceptions to use enums over strings. This would actually be on both. So one thing I need to do is actually like a localization, but that's a bigger project. Whenever we start doing the interface for real, we'll need to support that. Maybe we should do it sooner than later, because some other things like we need to figure out how to allow mods to add localization. Like for example, for the abilities, we just have this. Well, this name is just like the system name. There'll be a separate display name. And I guess that's how we would implement localization for that. We'll probably just, maybe we'll just open all localization, period, or all strings to mods even. Ones that we supply, or we use ourselves in the C#. So that way it'd be easy for people to mod in new locales. Or new languages, I guess is the correct term. Yeah, we'll have to think about that for sure when we start trying to figure out the final interface. Anyway, that's a bit in the future. Oh wait, that's not how we get that. It's controller, get component, and error equals claim message. Oh. Alright, then we also need to watch for when the scene changes, or the phase changes to us. So I think I'll copy some code here. Alright, so I put the tick function all the way at the bottom, did I? Then I need the loading phase. Which is just a variable subscription. Okay, and yeah, run scripts. So yeah, this actually does. This has a try catch. Alright, this has a straight mod load exception, so that's probably better. And then we need the onComplete, which is just a message claim. Okay, there we go. Okay, and now with this excuse me, I just need to make the loading, where is it? The asset loading controller, here it is, create this object. Okay, so before I actually add any scripts, let's make sure the game runs with no load scripts. Okay, so it freezes. Oh, that's because I messed up here. This should be there. I had to change the phase. Okay, now it got all the way through. Okay, so no problems. So now let's maybe create a script. Testing on load. We could just print framework on load. That should be good enough. So on load function. Okay, that's correct, I think. Yeah, unload function, okay. I need to go search back through the log to see if that was actually called. Yeah, this is why I need to clean up the debug log. Oh yeah, here. Framework on load. So that's good. I guess one way I can clean up the log is to remove this coroutine. Okay, so now we have onload functions, and we need to do the onNewTurn function. So let's look at the turn phase. Actually, we should probably create a new phase. Oop. Not sure why that popped up. Probably create a new phase right here, which would be like run new turn scripts. This should have a before choice, I think. If that's the case, I'm gonna need to change, because there's a whole bunch of things that depend on it. Timeout manager. Just looking here. So the flow manager won't be that hard to change things here. Yeah, instead of changing to turn, we actually go to new turn scripts. Yeah, we don't need to do like a maybe these should actually run at the end of a turn. Now that I think about it. And if that's the case, we won't really be able to test them just yet because they'd haven't. I think that that's better because the server starts a timer at the end of the. It doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. But we might need to add a new ready check. Because the server starts a timer when everybody's ready to choose, which would need to happen after the new turn scripts run. So I guess it just depends. Do I want to insert something new right here, or just run something at the end of the status update? Because we'd have to do ready check at the end of the status update, and then we'd have to do another ready check right after this. It's not that it matters a whole lot, but well, I guess we'd still have to do ready checks because, yeah, we'd submit the end of turn status to the server, then request it back, and then we have to check for an error and wait until everybody has gotten errors from that or not. Yeah, so I think we just need to create a new little phase here. Okay. So let's call this, I don't know, init turn. We'll need to go through and look about what all the ramifications of adding a new phase here would be. Yeah, because all this stuff depends a lot on the subphase. When I think about it, did I add the new subphases? Well, I didn't actually add anything here. It was here. Yeah, create actions and then regenerate. Okay. Okay, well, I guess I'll go through that at the end. Well, I'll go ahead and write a note. Check. New turn phase in connection manager and timeout managers. I think these would be the parts that would depend on it, and then also turn init phase on the server. That's fine. I mean, it's not a big deal. I just don't want to miss anything. But first of all, let's just go ahead and add it in here. Okay, so init. Oops, spelled that wrong. Turn subphase. This is a num. Okay, so none equals 0 to start out. I thought I had one open. Okay, so actually inactive is first. And then we have the start wait to see if we're in sync with the server. So I guess I should do that here. Although, does this phase really matter if we're in sync? Because we never ask the server for anything, we just do. Well, I guess we do have to do a ready check at the end, and if we're not synchronized, then we just skip the ready check, I think. Okay, let's see, how does this work? Okay, so if we're not connected, then we... Oh, I see. If we're not connected, we wait right here. But I mean, if we're not connected, we can go ahead and run the Lua script. Okay, so run scripts. Final wait and final check. Okay, I don't think I have a complete. Yeah, so here we wait to make sure that we're connected, and then once we are connected, we'll do a ready check. Yeah, right here after the error check is complete. Yeah, if it is connected, we do final wait. If not, oh yeah, and here it sees if we're in sync. Then we do a ready check. If not, we just move on. Yeah, so that's how this would work as well. Okay, so really I need to copy a lot of this code. But first I need to actually create the new object, don't I? Okay, so init turn phase manager. Okay. So now I gotta go through and change a lot of this stuff. Yeah, so this is the init turn phase. Maybe I'll just call it the init phase. Oh wait, I'm renaming it. I don't want to rename it. I want to create a new one. Change this to init turn subphase. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so we still want the connection manager. These will be a little different, but yeah, so it's not a choice timeout. Is that the right message? Okay, no, I don't need to do it here. So these will be different, but we'll still need the ready check, so I'll leave that. We don't need to have these commented. I guess we can go ahead and create these messages, no harm done. So what would we have? We just really have the on run scripts complete. So on init turn scripts complete. I forgot to type complete at the end. Okay, that's better. We don't need that one. So what is this? We don't actually use that. I don't think the choice phase manager uses it either. There's something left over. Okay, so yeah, this is useful, but we want to change everything to the init turn subphase. We just have a final wait. Okay, what happens if we... So if we get out of sync at any of these points, then we just move on. So if we're in the final check, then we change inactive. So that's correct. Okay, and here we want to see when we enter the initialized turn. So if we are connected, then we go to... Oh no, we always just... Even if we're not connected, we just run the scripts because it doesn't make any difference. That's right. Yeah, we don't need to change anything there. Don't need that one. Don't need that one. We do need the ready check. So if it's initialized turn, final check, then we're not done. Okay, so here, except it's a little different because we need to check if we're connected or not. And also this should be initialized turn. So if the value is run scripts, then we need to check if we're connected right here. So if we're not connected, then we change to final wait. If we are, then we do the start final check. Except I need to change the enumeration right there. Okay, so I definitely need to update this in sync right now. So expected server turn. Okay, so this is pretty simple. It will always just be initialize turn. Okay, so actually I took care of that pretty easily. Might as well update this while I'm here. So I need to get that value. Just copy and pasting a bunch of this. Okay, so now this is all updated, which is nice. Now you get to have a reminder of how complicated netcode is sometimes. Alright, so I'm pretty sure this is all good now. Yeah, and so if we reconnect during the final wait, then we start the final check, which is why we have this pulled out. And then if we're in sync, that means everybody's trying to do a ready check. So we move to that. If we're not synchronized, then it's inactive, which means we're done. Okay. So I need to make the flow manager go to the init turn here instead of choice. This will be init turn. Okay, we can probably just copy this. Okay, so if we're on the init turn phase, and let's see. If it's inactive. Okay, so this is actually a little different. Where's execute? Okay, right here. Oh, but they're still two separate. So yeah, this is actually the simplest because we just, if we're in init turn, then we just move to choices. And we don't even have another case, so that's really easy. And then on the server side, I have the play flow manager. Okay, probably the server play phase, this was inserted at the end. It actually needs to go right here at the beginning. I don't know how much difference that makes, but it just keeps things organized. Okay, so on the server, when it enters the play phase, we change to init turn, which is really simple for the server. So all it does is just wait for the ready check to complete. So we need to have another ready check type, and I'll add this manually in at the beginning. So if that is set, then we can move to choice actions calculation, which used to be the first phase, but not anymore. So I forget what else I need to do to make the server ready. Probably the ready check manager needs to update a bit. So that's the last type. Yeah, so we can add this to this list because these are all simple ready checks that don't have any other information that they're waiting for. Like you can see that some of the, during the choice calculations phase is when it'd be waiting for all the selection data, for instance. Okay. And then here it gets the wanted ready check type for each server phase. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much up to date now. So now I should update the client side ready check, which is here, common ready check manager. And this is actually really simple, just on the init turn. We just want to make sure that okay, so we will need to get the init turn subphase actually. Okay, I'll put it right here to try and keep things organized. It's most like the status subphase, so I'll copy this code. Except I only need one for the final check. Oops, I copied, didn't I? I meant to paste. And this should be the init turn. Okay, the ready check type is play init turn. Okay, and then any other phase we don't have a ready check, so we'd return 0. Okay, I think that's good. So now I think everything is hooked up. Let's do timeout real quick. Where is it? I know I have something here. Oh, how did I not see that? Okay, so maybe this is easier than I thought because it doesn't really care. Just if it's in the choice phase, then it's not an error if there's a timeout. Okay, so yeah, I don't need to change anything there. So that's good to know. So now I think I can check these off. Of course we'll have to do a little testing, but for the mainly that's all done. Okay, and then on the place sub controller, I need to add that new class. Oh, where is it? Let's close everything. Right, so new init subphase init turn phase manager. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so the only thing I have to do now is create the actual code that should run during the call Lua scripts part. But first, let's run the game. I think it's going to just soft lock during the init turn phase because there's no handler that ever calls the Lua scripts, but I think if we're able to load, that'll be good that the server isn't messing up. Okay, so yeah, so now it's stuck in the run scripts, which is fine. Yeah, we can't click on anything. Alright, so let's go ahead and handle that now. Okay, so for a lot of these Lua, I have like a separate class that calls the actual Lua scripts. I wonder if that's still worth it because this is comparatively simpler. It probably still is. Okay, anyway, let's do... So the new turn script caller. Oh, it's kind of like, yeah, wait. Yeah, I should change it to something else. Change it to something else. Because this is the class. I was trying to think of the class that controls which scripts are called, but I actually use this format for the classes that call the Lua script. So let's see. Init turn script. Well, really, I just... Okay, I'll just call it the script runner. Okay, so I'll do this first. And probably it's the most like the class that we called, that called the ability usable. So what was that? Okay, here. So I think I'll start with this class as a base. Oh, I accidentally deleted the... or I didn't copy the class name. Okay, so this works a little better. We won't need the battle, but we will need the game data. Well, actually, we will need the battle because we'll have to send it the current turn. Yeah, this play phase is getting a ton of scripts. I wonder if it'd be worth it to separate each of these into another sub namespace for each turn phase. Maybe because they don't interact. But I won't. I'll just put something here, maybe. Split play scripts into different folders. Well, that's going to be quite boring, so I don't know if I'll make you stream viewers sit through that. It's a database. I always call it GameDev database. We don't need two equal signs there either. Okay, and so we don't really need this cache, but we will need to cancel Lua. This will be the init turn phase. Okay, so just for ease of use, we still want these structs here. So this would be a new turn, Lua call parameters. That's not how you spell struct. And this will be a result. Okay, and we don't need that, although we do need a claim for on complete. Okay, and let's change this to running because we're not actually really computing anything specific. So we'll still have a state and maybe a Lua call count, but nothing else. Yeah, I don't need that. Okay, so yeah, this should be init turn. And I'll change this to on init turn phase change. Okay, don't need that one. Oh, except that was what I was going to use as on complete. So, there we go. We don't need that, but we do need this. Which I don't know if there'd really be any result, but just in case. What's it not like now? Method group to iListener. Have the componentless one in action. Isn't this the same thing that I did before? Yeah, right here. So I'm not really sure why it's complaining to me. I guess I'll wait until after the other errors are taken care of. So this should be init turn script runner, and then new turn Lua caller. I'll need both of those, so I'll go ahead and add them there so I won't forget. Okay, so we don't have this cache anymore. Actually, we don't need this at all. Okay, so let's change this. If it's init turn subphase run scripts. Then we change that to initialize. Oops. And then we want to start updating. So if it's running, then we want to cancel everything. Okay, so that's good. Don't have this anymore. Okay, so call all Lua. And right, there's no arguments yet. Okay, so this is a little different. So the Lua call count is easier to figure out here because it's just, we don't even have to do plus equals database on new turn functions count. Okay, so what would we send here? I guess we'd send the index for the function index. It needs to be public. And the only thing we'd really send here is maybe the turn number. Or the turn number, we don't even have to send that because that's probably going to be supplied in our game state. Okay, so really all we have to do is for int I 0, I less, oh come on, less than the call count. This is a function index equals I. That's about it. I think I pretty much finished this class now, but I don't really know why this is still complaining to me. So I guess I'll cast it. I've never had to do this before, but cannot convert method to action. Why not? Is Lua giving me that error too? Oh. I just needed to get the play subcontroller. But it still is saying a method or delegate. Parameters do not match. Which does not. Oh. Okay, that's weird. I was pretty sure I had copied the result, but I guess I had actually copied the parameters. Okay, so there we go. I guess we can try to run the game, but I think now it's still going to just soft lock because even though we actually call this or tell the game to run the scripts, nothing actually is handling them yet. Or handling those commands, I should say. Yeah, so it's just stuck on run scripts. Can't click on anything. But I guess we'll have to come back and finish this up on Monday because I'm all out of time. But thanks everybody for coming by and watching. Sorry I've been a little quiet today, still not feeling 100%, but hopefully I can rest up this weekend and feel better by Monday. But if you missed some of the stream and you want to catch up, I'll upload this to YouTube in the morning, and I'll be back by Monday at about 8:30 Eastern, and we'll continue where we left off here and maybe work on some more of this stuff. Yeah, or maybe I guess we could move on to here, but I'm not sure. So, because our goal is to go back to where we can actually play through one whole turn. So I guess it just depends how many little side projects we want to do before then. But anyway, thanks everybody again. Have a great night and a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday. Alright, bye-bye.